Alright, alright. Players, make sure you can hear me alright. Just give me a thumbs up or a head nod if you can hear me, and if it's a acceptable volume. Alright. Been a while since I restreamed for him, so give it your seed. You may practice for a bit longer. I do not mind right now. Just once you're done warming up, we'll get you guys ready. Alright, once one player gets their seed in, I will be rushing the other player, so as I do not want to waste their time. Once both of you are ready, alright, Vance is on seed right now, so just finish up your practice. Alright, thank you. Our, both players are ready. Once both players are marked ready, I will count you down. Alright, both players are ready. Count you down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Yeah, no worries for the stream. Just saw y'all needed one and want to get back to restream just because I noticed there was a lack of restreamers. So, yeah. Both players are in Div 2 for DAS League, so it's a very noble achievement already as this means these players are just on the edge of Div 1, which has a lot of top DAS players. Both players stacking well so far. Vance here setting up a Vitz. Doesn't want to take too many burns. Does get the eye bar, long bar. Tetris. Tetris for steals. Both players get two Tetrises now. 115 at 22 lines for Vance, 114 for steelce at 20. So really only a double separating them right now. So no real pace lead. Both are pretty much close. Right. steelce having to get into some burns, but so does Vance. Both players' boards having to take a few burns. This is going to slow them down on efficiency. Tetris for steelce. Gets the well back open. Just having to do a few more burns. Both players' boards. Actually, no, steelce's board's still a little messy. Vance's board is cleaner, a little dependent. Gets the Tetris. 192 at 44 lines for Vance. 167 at 38 lines for steelce. As he gets another Tetris. Really only separated by 2,000 points, and and right now 9 pushdown points separate them. A single is taken, but another single is taken. So 9 pushdown points is really making the difference right now. Vance taking a few burns. steelce gets the T-spin, trying to be aggressive, doesn't want to take too many burns. Waiting on the bar. steelce gets a few touches in, but so does steelce, gets 2 in. Both players still really close in score together. Vance is gonna have to get a few good pieces, gonna have to take a few burns. Might have overshifted that a piece. steelce gets a bar in, Tetris. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a separation as Vance's board a little messy. Gonna hopefully give him the pieces he needs. Meanwhile, steelce is playing pretty clean. Let's see. Vance just takes a triple, doesn't want to risk it for the Tetris. Trying to just get out of this board. Meanwhile, steelce head bobbing his way through this board. Having a pretty clean board right now. Just needs a bar. Hoping to get the right pieces for the next Tetris. Meanwhile, Vance was able to burn out of the situation. steelce's board a little messy now. Both players' boards a little dependent. 287 for Vance at 85 lines. steelce is behind at 79 lines, but at 319, so it does have the pace lead and an overall lead. All right, both players trying to get their boards back in shape. steelce does get the Tetris. Still on good pace right now. Vance having to do a few suffer burns. Not really a suffer pace, but not where he would have wanted to be. Bar for steelce, head bobbing and nodding. He's getting the pieces he wants. Nice spin for Vance to set up and take one burn. Almost a 100,000 point lead right now for steelce. Though he's going to have to take a few more burns. Takes a single and a double. Yeah, gonna have to take another single as he covered up that well. Though Vance's board also a little messy. Does get the right pieces. Nice quick tap. Right. 348 for Vance. 438 for steelce. And steelce is also behind by line, so he is really pacing over Vance right now. Vance's board really up high. 19 is approaching soon, so he needs to dig out. He gets a quick tap, but wasn't able to get that piece rotated. He's going to top out at 352. steelce are good for game number 1. Head bobbing his way. Looks like he's vibing to the music right now. Alright, steelce. You are good for game number 1. I will update the score. Yeah, no, that was kind of a separate drought for both players. In fact, the bar just wasn't coming for them. Didn't even notice how bad of a drought that was going to be. But all right, increment your seeds. We'll get started for game number 2. Hopefully, the seed will be a little more friendly. You are still on increment. Alright, I will start your games in 3. Alright, both players stacking well so far. Hopefully this seat's gonna be a little more friendly as we see steelce doing the signature head bob. Vance, meanwhile, just playing it straight. No, looking a little more serious. Let's see how it pays off in the long run. steelce will take the first burn of the game. Only a single, so no real impact. Vance, meanwhile, is doing some pushdown points. Yeah, steelce's board is a little bit messy. Does kind of not get the right piece. He's hoping for it. L. Just gonna take a double and a single. Still needs the right pieces. Finally gets a J. Nice bar for a Tetris. And another Tetris. 139 for Vance at 27 lines. steelce is at 60,000 at 25. Kind of burning through the early parts. Again, could be a factor for later, but we never know. We'll see how the later stages of the game will impact both. Vance is having a pretty good pace so far. Just thinking of another burn. It's back to being Tetris ready. Meanwhile, steelce opts to just take a few burns to fix his board. Doesn't want to make too many dependencies. Alright, sorry for the quietness. Vance is at 486 lines. steelce is at 285 at 86 lines. So a significant pace lead for Vance right now. Do want to apologize for being quiet for a bit. Just had to tend something real quick. It's getting to a burn sequence right now. Steel's waiting for a bar. Alright, nice burns for Vance. Both players about to reach 19, a few more lines. Steelce isn't off for a dirty Tetris. Just gonna burn it down. Vance, meanwhile, is on good pace. Steel's kind of having a little bit of a suffer game. Right, 496 for Vance at 122 lines. 342 for Steelce at 122 lines. Vance's board a little messy though. Nice double. Wells back open. Not gonna get the final touches, but gets a triple transition. 509, 133 lines. Steals 392 at 133 lines. Both players is just digging through right now. Steals is board a little messy, but is able to bring it back down. Doesn't get a nice timely square though. It's gonna wreck his board a little bit. Vance is well as covered, but another square that doesn't help. Both players on the verge of topping out. And Vance tops out, but Steels also tops out. Vance does take the point at 539, just had a better 18 overall. Steels tops out at 400. Yeah, no, that seed definitely was starting to get drowdy towards the end. Both players, you both just didn't have the best 19 board, and it just caught up to you in level 20. But Vance does take the this round just because he had a better 18 pace overall. Alright, both players increment the seed, or you can practice again. If both players want to get some practice, I'm alright with that too. Or alright, both Steels is opting for some practice. Alright. Alright, both players are ready, so I will count you down in 3. Both players starting their stacks off differently. Well, it was first a best of 5, is now best of 3. Steels will start the game off with a Tetris. Vance will start a game off with a Tetris, I meant, and Steels will take a burn into a Tetris. Both of them did take their first burn. Their stacks are different, so it's very interesting to see how this will pan out for both of them. Who will be rewarded for their stacking? Are both players waiting on a bar? Game's not really giving them a bar right now. Kind of an early drought. Vance kind of having undershift, but is able to recover. Oh, but Steels also had an awkward placement. Both players really did feel the effects of that early drought. Looks like Steels didn't get that tuck that he wanted. Does get burned. Vance, meanwhile, is board's getting high. Should be able to burn it down. Game doesn't give him a long bar, but he uses a nice J. Both players' boards are kind of messy. They're both burning it down right now. Steals does get a Tetris. Alright, Vance is at 90,000 at 39 lines. Steals is at 112 at 41 lines, so kind of a suffered game in terms of pace for both, I would say. They both really got felt that early drought. Steals really dependent on a long bar. Gets it a few pieces later than he wanted. It's just gonna burn it back down. He's gonna opt for another dirty Tetris. Alright, he's gonna just burn it down, shift the board back. Meanwhile, Vance was able to capitalize on having a cleaner board. 161, 53 lines, Steals at 133, 54 lines. So Vance has the overall lead. Players now up up pretty high, taking a few burns. Another drought, it seems like, for both of them. This seat's just not really giving them the bars when they want them. Vance gets the Tetris, Steals waits for it and gets a Tetris too. Both players are kind of in a suffer pace right now. 217 for Vance at 72 lines, 187 for Steals at 187. Yeah, you can see Vance just laughing. He's like, yeah, I don't like this seat at all. Both players just just waiting for the right pieces. Board's still board's both clean for both of them. Waiting for bars for Steals. Vance gets two Tetrises. Meanwhile, Steals was only able to capitalize on one, but does get a bar quickly for another one. 285 for Vance, 84 lines. 237 for Steals set, 85 lines. Both players really close in pace. But right now, Vance is leading by about a Tetris, or about two Tetrises right now. All right. Steals with a nice Tetris. Vance with another nice Tetris. Vance was able to pull the pace back a bit. Steals is also able to hopefully transition with 300 at 100 lines. Tetris for Steals. Separated by around two Tetrises so far for both play. Vance with the lead. A little bit of a messy board though. This is gonna allow Steals to hopefully build up some pace, maybe take the lead. Steals is really catching up right now. Has an extra Tetris and pace right now. Vance board still having to dig, still a few more burns. Meanwhile, Steals waiting for a bar. Bar isn't really coming though. Not when he really wants it. Finally gets the bar in for a Tetris. 392 at 120 lines for Vance. 363 at 120 lines for Steals. As both players are kind of in a burn sequence right now. Really, really don't want to be burning your last few lines before 19. Yeah, Steels' board is looking a little scary right now. Vance a little more manageable. And Vance transitions at 400. Meanwhile, Steels looks like he's gonna burn down. Transitions at 372. It's kind of a suffer pace for both of them, in fact. And Steels having to clean up. Vance's board is clean. Does have an awkward piece. Does shift the long bar in, but having to burn. Meanwhile, Steels having to deal with a B-type board. Right. Vance is clean. Just setting up, takes some burns. Knows he doesn't have to go too aggressive right now, as he does have the pace. 426 for Vance, 393 for Steels. So about Tetris and change separate them actually. So they're both pretty close. Vance hoping to get a bar, does take a nice double to end the Nice piece to clean up the board. Steals his board. Also, precarious right now. Vance's board clean in comparison. Vance is kind of pulling it away right now. It's kind of leaning by 2.5 Tetrises. Another Tetris for Vance. 492 to 409. Um, Alright, Vance is Tetris ready. Gets another Tetris. 521, but Steels gets a Tetris. Have been his first one since his initial dig. But having to cover up the well again. Meanwhile, Vance, Tetris ready, hoping to get a bar soon. Gets the bar for Tetris. 554 at 181. Steals 473 at 181. 474 now. Vance is leading by quite a bit in terms of pace. Has the overall and pace lead. So Steels wants to get a little more aggressive. Game's really not cooperating with Steels right now. Vance on, meanwhile, hits 600,000. Vance at 625 at 197. Steels 526 at 196. Vance is at over 100,000 point lead right now. So Steels really needs to put pedal to the metal and hope that Vance tops out soon. Steels needs a long bar. The offsword Tetris, but now has to burn. He can't really afford too much burning as Vance is running away right now. 730 at 214 for Vance, while Steels is at 600 212. Vance is left side kind of in trouble, and he covers up the well a little too late. Let's see if he can burn it down. Steels on also has a messy board. Gets a dirty Tetris though. Vance on the verge of topping out. Let's see if he can get a few pieces. It's not Tetris ready, but he's burning it back down. This has opened up an opportunity for Steels. He needs, but he's might be a little out of range. Vance just takes a double and tops out 753, but Steels tops out 673. Vance takes game number 3. Little bit of a suffer early game. Whoops. A little bit of a suffer early game. And Steels just burning a bit too much on 19 start. And he was able to pull it back within 3 Tetrises. But sadly, he only had room for 2 and needed to set up for an extra Tetris at 29, which is always precarious. Yeah, this this seed is um, a little bit of a suffer one. Do you want me to re-roll seeds for you just so that we can see, hopefully get a new one? Maybe maybe we can see a bit of a friendlier seed. Or you're fine with running this one. Alright, alright, alright. Both players want to continue. Hopefully the last seed is a smidge friendlier. So, both players are ready. Vance just needs to take this one for game number 4. Steels needs to take this one for a decider. And I'll count you down in 3. Alright, both players opting to stack their boards a little differently. It's always interesting to see how each player is stacking, to just see how does it pan out for them. Vance kind of having to do some early burns. Steels gets the first Tetris. A lot of tucks right now from Vance. Gets his first Tetris. Steels gets another one. Nice double for Vance. And a Tetris. Steels right now. Waiting for a few squares. Maybe just gonna opt for a burn for a Tetris. Both waiting on a bar right now. Bar's not coming. Does get a bar though, so 83 at 25 for Vance, 124 for at 29 for steelce. So steelce leading by about a Tetris, as Vance does take a few burns though. So right now, pace wise, steelce is about 2 Tetris ahead in pace. Vance's board kind of messy right now. Could use a long bar or a J, does get it. Meanwhile, steelce having a much better pace right now. Vance, meanwhile, waiting for a little bit of a suffer game in terms of pace. Nice T. Waiting on a bar, both players again, but kind of a story about this overall seed set. Just both players getting a little bit droughted. They're not playing poorly. It's just this seed isn't really cooperating with them. 173 at 58 lines for Vance, 224 at 55 lines for Steele. Says he has a T-spin set up, opts not to take it, so he's gonna take a few more burns. Yeah, right now. 220 for Vance at 69 lines, 238 for Steele at 67 lines. So Steele is holding on to about a Tetris lead, a little less than that, but Vance is catching. 313 for Vance at 86 lines, 314 for Steele at 88 lines. Both players are pretty close in pace so far. 20,000, so about a Tetris in difference right now. A little more right now since Steele did take a few burns. So Vance has opened up and taken the lead. Steele's left is a bit concerning. Vance kinda duh, gets the J a little too late, now having to get into a burn sequence. This could have opened an opportunity for Steels to catch up, but his board's also a little messy. Well is open for him though. Nice burn. Gets the Tetris. Nice triple for Vance. Burning down right now. 392 for Vance at 111 lines. 375 for Steels at 113. Really, it seems like just before the transition, every game, the game just decides to punish the players for being a little too greedy, because it just says to them, yeah, I'm gonna punish you and give you the worst pieces possible. Yeah. Both players' boards are back to being clean though. Tetris for the Vance has taken the lead. Steals takes a Tetris. Both players separated by about 5,000, so really close right now. One more Tetris will do it, and for Vance, 451 transition. Steals waiting for Tetris and gets it. 454, so really close games right now for both of them. Steals decides to just not risk it and is playing a little safe. Takes a triple. Vance takes another Tetris. 505 at 147 for Vance. 466 for steelce. As steelce gets a Tetris to cut down the lead. Both players within half a Tetris of each other. Vance does have to lead. Tetris for Vance. steelce setting up. Trying to play a little more aggressive. He knows he's behind. Vance gets another Tetris. 589 at 62 lines for Vance. steelce kind of in a burn situation. Gets the board cleaned up. Gonna need to wait a bit for a few more pieces. Board set up. Vance has a little bit of a scary board right now. Well's covered. Needs a L. Not getting the L. Nice pieces, but he's getting thrown a curveball, and he's gonna top out 597. steelce. You need to chase down 598's your target. You can line out. 598's your target, steelce. 598. Knows the situation, and he's playing it pretty safe so far, not opting to rush it. He knows that if he plays it carefully, he should be good. Nice triple. Just a few more lines, a few more singles, a few more doubles. Should be good for this game. And he has taken the lead, and we'll take game number 2, or game number 4, for a decider. Really not, really not a good seed sequence for both players right now. Seems like every time nearing transition, just throws them a curveball. Both players are playing well against that, despite all odds from the seed. Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying you would do better than me if I was playing. I'm speaking as a lowly Div 5 player. All right, both players are just admitting they're playing bad. All right, all right. Maybe you guys are just having a skill issue. All right, I'm just kidding. But Vance is ready for the deciding game. steelce taking a little bit of a moment. Yeah, just hopefully in this last game it's gonna be a little friendlier. Hey, don't worry. If I'm playing these seeds, I'll also be bad too. So it's a mutual agreement. Both players are ready though for the decider, so I will count you down in 5 instead. All right, Tetris. I believe this is best of 5, so this will be the deciding game for both. Real, hopefully this end game they can end it off with a bang. But knowing this seed, anything could happen, so I'm not gonna hold my breath out. Alright, Fancy a few burns, playing it safe so far, not wanting to go push aggression. steelce head bobbing as always. Vance is left a little precarious, burns it down. Tetris ready, gets the bar for a Tetris. steelce on a meanwhile, takes his first burn. Alright, board, Tetris Ray again. And a bar comes in for Tetris. You can tell steelce is agreeing with the pieces that he's being given right now. Players waiting on a bar, both are Tetris ready. Both are Tetris ready, but bars, again, seemingly not wanting to come out when players are Tetris ready. Finally get a bar for both of them. 999 for Vance, 99 at Vance for 27, 118 for steelce at 26. Both players have hit the first 100,000. steelce burning down, not wanting to push the aggression too hard. Meanwhile, steals, gets a Tetris. Both players building up again. Vance could use a Z piece right now, waiting on it. Does get it. Little bit of an awkward S though. Meanwhile, Steel's also gonna have to take a few burns. Meanwhile, all right. 176 at 48 for Vance. 196 for Steels at 49 lines. So Steels leading by a Tetris right now. I think by 2 M's. I think he got another one. Covers up the well though, and gets a single right there. Both players Tetris ready again, and gets a bar. Right. Steel's a little dependent on on an L. Does get it though, and is back to being Tetris ready. Meanwhile, Vance gets a J, and has cleaned the board up to be Tetris ready again. Tetris for both. Steels does get another Tetris though. 271 for Vance, and 272 now at 70 lines. 292 for Steels at 71. So both players about are having a solid game so far. Steels leading about by a Tetris. Vance not too far behind though, only about a Tetris difference. Tetris for both. 320 for Vance. 340 for Steels. Vance is in a little bit of a burn situation. Could use a T and does get it. Then a Tetris for Vance. Tetris for Steels. Steels leading by about 2 Tetrises right now. Tetris for Vance. Tetris for Steels. Tetris for Vance. Vance has to block the well to take a few burns. Meanwhile, Steel waiting on a bar. Tetris ready. Heading into a little bit of a drought again, which is about the story for this seed when it's getting nearer to the 19 transition. Nice quick tap from Steels. Both players weathering the storm. Tetris for Steels and Tetris for Vance. 422 at 11, 111 lines for Vance. 466 for Steels at 112. So again, Steels leading by 2 Tetrises. Another Tetris for Steels. Another Tetris for Vance. And Vance gets another one. Separated by about a Tetris and change right now, but Steels gets another one to make it 513. Vance is at 470, 122. Tetris for Steels. Tetris for Vance. One more Tetris until the level 19 transition. Both players waiting on a bar. Steels gets it. 560 transition. And a 518 transition from Vance. So finally, the first game in this set where both players transition above 500. Both players are burning down though, playing it safe. Tetris for Steels. And Tetris for Vance. Steels leading by about over 2 Tetrises right now. Vance's board a little shaky. That left side does need to be tended to. Awkward square piece. He's gonna burn it down. Gets a long bar and gets a square for a nice double. Brought the board back down. Meanwhile, Steels is playing well so far. 631, now 658 at 56 lines. Vance 583 at 155 lines. So Really, Steels has a about a 3 touches lead right now. Vance's board a little precarious, does get a Tetris though, and is gonna clean it back up. Steals Steals board clean, another Tetris for Steals. 716 for Steals. Meanwhile, Vance still cleaning up. About 100,000 point difference right now. Vance going aggressive, but having to take a triple, and now his well's covered. Nice burns though. 628 at 177 lines. Now 630 at 178 lines for Vance. 754 at 180 lines for Steels. He is really putting on the pace right now. Oh, but he's entering a little bit of a burn sequence, so hopefully, so Vance's can hopefully capitalize on the burns. Steel's board back to being clean though. Little dependent. Does get a nice long bar to clean up the board. Tetris for Vance. 674 for Vance. 796. Now 828 at 199 lines for Steels. He is on max out pace. Vance, meanwhile, just trying to hopefully capitalize on any mistakes Steels makes. Steel's board a little precarious. Vance's board also a little precarious. He's gonna opt to burn it down. Take a nice single. Steals his board. Back to being clean. Back to being Tetris ready. Tetris for Steals. Vance right now, oh, just really behind. Even if he goes perfect, I'm not sure if he can catch up. He's gonna need to hope Steals catch those tops out, but gets an unfortunate S burst. 761 for Vance, 917 for Steels. Gets a Tetris, and Tetris for Vance 800,000, which is a good score, but Steels just a little shy of a max out, 956. So Steels just had an incredibly strong final game. I'm not sure what Vance could have done during that entire game. Steels just had a really solid post and just kept it pedal to the metal that whole game. Yeah, GG's to you, Steels. Alright, wait a minute. Congratulations on the win. I will be reporting this game for your div. Both of you played well, of course, but Steels just was able to get that last game and really gave us a Christmas miracle by having a game not only reach 29, but it was a few off from max out. Almost beat my PB, but let's not talk about that. All right. Thank you both for playing, and I will be. Uh, I can do you and Steels. I can do you and Steels. So let me just change the scene real quick. Yeah, I can change your name to all lowercase. Match your to name. All right. On Jedi. And I will get you guys going. Take a little bit of break if you need. Steels. All right, let me just Alright, so just pulling up the Twitch right here. Okay, there is no space for Jedi Evan. Okay. Ears up. Let me just move Jedi Evan a little bit so we can see him. There he is. Say hi to him. Right, Jedi Evan really practicing some 19 right now. If you want some practice steals, I don't mind. If you want just a few more warm ups, as I know finishing a match right there, you might want to just get a few warm up of attempts. Yes, you're facing off a Jedi steals. Do you think you got what it takes to take down an actual Jedi? I will generate your new seed. All right. So Jedi Evan's the Obi-Wan of the Turtles community. Steals, you better not be giving him the high ground then. Better make sure you're pacing over him the entire game. You do not want to give him the high pace. All right, let me also reset your score because we know Steels did not get a decider yet. All right, Jedi Evan is finished. So once you finish up this practice session, we should be getting going. You can barely see. All right, I'll move you a little forward. There we go. Oh, we see all of Steels now. All right, both players have their seated. Let me just give a conference. Both players are ready, so I will count you down. All right, both players stacking right now. Jedi Evan stacking it a little bit differently from Steel, so let's see how it pans out for both. Really having a little bit of a spire right now. Gets the bar though. Steel's meanwhile a little cleaner. Uh, Jedi Evan really building up a spire right now. Another an awkward O piece. Gonna need a few pieces to burn. Oh no! Evan tops out with just a Tetris. Steels was already good. Game number one. Just wow. It just looked like Evan just built up a spire, didn't want to take any burns, but just backfired and the spiral just got a little out of hand. and steals takes the first game. All right, both. All right, steals is ready for game, game number two. Both players are, so I will count you down in three. Hopefully, this game lasts a little longer. All right, both of them starting off with a few tucks right now. Evan is long, a little bit long, is long bar dependent. Does get the long bar, takes a burn. Tetris ready. Steals gets the first Tetris. Evan gets another one. Evan again and having a little bit of aspire does get the bar though. Gets it down lower a little bit. Another Tetris has a hole though, so he wants a. Is he building off row one? Looks like he's planning on building on row one for a bit. Meanwhile, Steals just playing a little bit more safe. An awkward. Here's S. Evan's board spiraling like, but does get a few pieces of burn down. Meanwhile, Steals is board a little bit messy too. 81 for Evan at 23. Steals, meanwhile, having an awkward board. He's gonna need a long bar. Give him the bar. Covers up the hole, but is able to get some nice pieces of burn back down. Another bar. Meanwhile, Evan's back to being in a clean neutral board. Nice flat burn for Steals. And a nice long bar to open up that well back and gets a Tetris. A nice recovery, but because of that is behind in pace. 131.37 for Evan. 110 40 lines for Steals. He is nodding in excitement, knowing that he's potentially saved a disastrous game. Evan's board, meanwhile, a little weird. It's gonna maybe take a center while Tetris here. He is setting up. He's going for it. The bar is not coming. Give him the bar. The bar just refusing to come, and he as well as covered. He's gonna need a bar, but it's not giving it to him. Both players running into a drought. He finally does get the bar, but it's a little too late. Gets as he's gonna have to burn it back down. And of course, now that the board's covered, you can't take capitalize on Tetris. The bars are coming in hot. Steals at 183 at 59 lines. All right, just a quick refresh. 197.65 lines for Steel. So for Evan, meanwhile Steels is at 207.64 lines. So both players aren't really having the greatest of paces. Evan's opting to go center well for a bit. Tetris for Evan. Steels meanwhile setting up has a slight lead, but is overall ahead in pace too. He gets a Tetris. Tetris for Evan. Oh, a little bit of a potential mischief there. Meanwhile, Steals' board also a little awkward. Evan is committed to center well and Tetris 291, 85 lines, 278 at 79 lines for Steals. Covers up the well. And both players are going center well now. It seems like both players are just opting to have a center well off. Evan decides to just go back to the building on the left. Doesn't want to commit to the center well. Both players back on the left now. Tetris. Both are coming to a right well now. Steels is just jamming to some tunes right now. Maybe Evan has some tunes, just maybe not as excited. Tetris for Evan, 365, and 357 for steals at 100 lines. Nice tuck. Does get a little bit of a troublesome O piece, but is able to quickly resolve it. Evan getting some nice tucks in. Waiting for a bar. And Tetris for Evan. 410, now 433 at 155 lines. Steals, meanwhile, 409 at 115. So about a Tetris and then some change pace lead for Evan. Both players' boards are a little bit sketch. Evan's board is now clean, and Steels does clean up the board too. A few more lines till the 19 transition. We'll see how the players is tackle 19 speeds. Tetris for Evan. Evan's the first at 19 with a 486. Meanwhile, Steels does a nice spin. Evan gets a Tetris, 510. Evan still decides to Steels decides to burn and is at 469, 135 lines. Evan does have a problematic left, but has burnt down the board. Meanwhile, Steels just burning down two. Well is covered, but back to being Tetris ready. The game decides to give him a bar a little too late. Evan coming to a center wall and does get it, but board's a little bit weird now. He's gonna burn it back down, it seems. 558 at 155 for Evan. 510 at 151 for Steels as he gets a Tetris right there. Really, only a Tetris difference between the two of them. And Steels takes the lead at 563, 564 now. Evan takes the lead again. Wells covered for both of them. They're going to have to do a little bit of digging. Evan a little more so. All right, Steels is well is open again, but having to take another burn. Could use a long bar right now. Oh, gets a nice dirty Tetris. 604 for Steels. 577 for Evans. So Evans still not far behind. As Steel's board well is covered again. Gonna burn it back down. Having to put more pressure on it. Not a very timely square. Could use a L piece right now. Tetris for Evan. Takes the lead. 645, but Evan does hang a piece. Can recover. Gets a bar to set up and fixes the well. Now back to being lower. Both players really close together. 653, 54 now for Evan. 653 for Steele. So a very neck and neck game. Oh, Steels is going aggressive. He wants a bar. He needs a bar now. Gets the bar, but that left is precarious. He's going to need to burn it down. He's going to need a piece. Gets a T. Ahead right now. 694 for Steels. 669 for Evan, but Evan has a much cleaner board. Steels, meanwhile, trying to survive this. Can he burn it back down? Evan also taking a few burns. He's gonna need something for the left. He's gonna need Steels needs something for the left. He's getting some nice placements right now, but I don't think he can get anything over. He gets an. He's keeping this game alive, burning it down. 714 for Steels. 713 for Evan. Evan gets a Tetris. I don't know what Steels can do at this point. His board's up high. He's burning it again. Evan gets another Tetris. Steels just unable to do anything at this point and is going to top out. Evan takes this game 820 to Steel's 723. Awfully close game throughout the entire game, but Evan was just able to capitalize on the last three levels, while Steel's just got an unlucky dig situation. But the fact that he got to 229 to begin with that board is honestly a miracle. Like, you were making some really nice burns there. But yeah, Evan will take this game. Went from a Tetris top out to getting a 821. So a little bit of a jump, some would say, for the two different games. Just a little bit. Yeah, Steels is just getting some practice in for 19. Hoping to not get into that top out situation again. Right. Both players put in your seeds. Alright, both players are ready, so I will count you down in 3. Alright. Both players stacking. Opting for a slightly different build, so we'll see which one gets reward Tetris. Both are Tetris ready now. Oh, an awkward hang for Evan. Might have lost Das there. Gets a Tetris, but his board's a little messy. Especially at the start. You don't really want your board to be spiraling like that. Meanwhile, Steel's board is clean. Gets another Tetris. You know, head bobbing to some beats. Gotta ask, are you listening to any music or you're just head bobbing because you feel like head bobbing? Really busting out some moves in the middle of a Tetris match, you know? Feeling the jolly mood. Alright, Evan setting up a center well, but some untimely pieces and long bar dependent on the on the right. But Steel's board also kind of messy. Gonna have to take some burns. 39 for Evan at 20 lines. 96 for Steels at 24. Now it's 97 at 24. He's setting up a dirty Tetris and gets it. Yeah, Evan still have burning down. Gonna go for a center well, it looks like. And gets it. Looks like he's just gonna be staying committed to the center well for a bit. Alright. Let's see if Evan can use the force to will the pieces to the left and right. 117 for Evan, 44 lines. 172 at Steel's, 44 lines. So a 3 touches lead right now. For Steel's pace is all almost the same right now. So Steel's with the overall pace lead and the overall lead. Nice triple for Steel's. Setting up center well. Again, another dirty Tetris. Is he going to get it? No, he's just going to clean it. Get a triple and a Tetris. Opts to just play it safe there. Alright, nice pieces. 190 for Evan at 61 lines. Steels gets a Tetris and is at 256, 67 lines. Tetris for Steels. And another Tetris for Steels. Evan's left a little precarious. Does get a few pieces. Now back to mostly neutral board. Oh, but it's kind of long bar dependent right now in the center there. Is he gonna? Oh, he's opting for for a Samuel Tetris. Okay, he's just gonna burn it down. Okay, takes a nice triple, boards back to being clean. 251 for Evan at 84 lines. steelce gets a Tetris at 352 at 88. So really been pacing over Evan the entire game. Uh, And the Opsu not to spin. Opsu just tuck it with the T. Nice, nice burn. Tetris for steals. And Tetris for Evan. Another Tetris for steals. Evan takes a few nice singles. And a Tetris there. 326, 104 for Evan. 404 at 104 for steals. A lot of fours, but right now steelce's controller randomly disconnects, it looks like. Just what happened there? Just seems to just lost a lot of inputs and now its board is a lot messier. I don't know what happened there. Just lost dash completely and just lost a lot of piece movement for no reason, it looks like. Evan could use this opportunity to catch up. Once this game ends, I do want to figure out what to do with this moving forward, as I don't think that was just a bad placement or anything. Just caught him out of nowhere. But yeah, he transitions 448 132 lines. Evan takes a double. Oh, one more line till 029. A little long bar dependent, actually very much dependent, and he's selling out right now. And he's about to top out, and he tops out 429. steelce, you are good. I need to know though what happened there. Okay, so you got a pop up there. Yeah, no, no, no. I will say if you did lose that game because of it, I would have replayed it because I don't think it's fair for you to essentially lose because your controller just disconnected. But since Evan topped out anyways, we will not have to replay it. So the point will go to you, but a little bit unfortunate accident on 18. Hopefully he can fix it so that it doesn't happen again. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, just fix up your whatever computer issues you are having. It's on 3. Oh my god, it was on 3. Okay, so quickly plug that in once you are ready to go. Alright. Alright, I'll give you a moment. Evan, if you want some practice, just get some practice runs. I think it's gonna take a little bit for Steel to just check if his laptop battery will die or not. So if you want some practice, just go for it. Alright. Tell me if it's going up. Righty. Alright, so okay. So we should be good now. Just put in the seed. Alright, both players already. Uh 74. So just adjust that real quick. Alrighty. I'll count you down in 3. Alrighty. So this game could decide it all. Steels could take this in a 3-1 game. Evan could sneak up a win and force a decider. Evan got a little bit of an awkward or Z burst, but able to clean it back up. Board is set up, waiting for the bar. Steels does get the first Tetris. Running into a bit of a drought early on, it seems. Bar for Jedi Evan and a bar for Steels. Doesn't seem like the friendliest of seats so far, but Steels does get a Tetris. Opting to build center well. Opting to build center well, it seems. Let's see if it pans out. Tetris for Steel. Alright. And triple for Evan and a single. 64-23 for Evan. Gets a Tetris. 87 at 27 now for Evan. Steals 118 at 25 as he gets another Tetris. Tetris for Evan. Tetris for Steals. Steals right now taking a bit of a pace lead so far. Gets another Tetris. Setting up a Vitz. It's Steals is setting up a Vitz, but is getting punished for it. And board's a little bit messy right now. Gonna take a few burns. Bar's waiting for the bar, but it just doesn't seem to be coming for both of them. Finally does come for Steals, but it's gonna have to take it back down. This could give Evan the opportunity to catch up in pace. Touches for Evan. 186, 53 lines. Deals 196, 49 lines. As he's continuing to have to burn right now. Waiting for a bar. Obviously just burn it slowly. Gets the bar in. Evan has taken the lead now. 210 for Evan. Steels gets the Tetris though and has taken the lead back. And back to being a clean board. Is he gonna have a left wall Tetris? Is the bar gonna come? Bar decides to just not come for her. The steals. Steals still waiting on the bar. Finally does get it. 243 at 70. Now 266 at 74 for Evan. 255 at 72 for Steele. So Evan with the lead right now. Both players still relatively close to each other. Steals his board back under control, but having to put more pressure right now. Pieces have not been cooperating for Steals. Evan on the meanwhile having a cleaner board. Double for Steals, a single for Steal. $317 at 90 lines for Evan. 273 at 89 for Steals. Now 275 at 92. Finally gets a double in. Now back to being set up for a right wall Tetris. Can he get it here? Evans Evans board meanwhile a little bit messy too. Gets a nice triple in. Opts to go aggressive. Doesn't want to take a burn. Tetris Evan. Tetris steals. 393, 107 for Evan. 326 at 105 for steals. Tetris steals. Evan's board covered. Gonna need some pieces. Gonna need a long bar now. Gets the long bar quick. And gets a Tetris in. 421 at 117 for Evan. 374, 116 for steals. So about a 2 Tetris difference right now for Evan. Both players are slowly digging their way out. 2 more Tetrises available for steals before level 19. 1 more available for Evan. Evan's board a little messy. Let's see if he's okay. He's gonna opt to burn down for 19 451 transition. All right. Meanwhile, Steel's waiting for the last or opts to just take a double. 425 transition. Gets a Tetris though. We're caught up in but a little bit of a hang. Gets a nice quick tap over. And the nice long bar lowers the board. And another double. Evans' board also a little bit messy. Okay, Steels needs a long bar. Are gonna need to have to take some few burns. Nice long bar in there. Now looking for L or J. Any three piece. Tetris ready. Waiting for the bar. Or takes a double. Takes a triple there. Opts to just play it safe. Setting up for a T-spin, but opts to just set up. It gets a nice Tetris. 496 for Steels, 484 for Evan. So Steels has overtaken the lead. Evan still digging down right now. about a 10,000 point difference in score right now, so still relatively close to each other. Tetris for Evan. Tetris for steals. Both players are just duking it out right now. Tetris for Evan and Tetris for steals. Steele setting up again. Oh, nice adjustment and was able to get a Tetris there. Tetris for Evan though. Both players really close right now, just really only separated by about Tetris and change. Eight, 613 now at Tetris, 644 at 190 lines for Jedi Evan, 653 at 189 lines for Steel. So really close game still. Only separated by 10,000. Simul Tetris right there. Very much in anyone's ballpark still. Evan Lombard dependent, opposite setup center well, gets the center well. Oh, meanwhile, Steels misses a tuck, so that takes 2 burns. It's gonna not really impact the pace right now. Still has maintained the lead. 7-11, 7-12 now for Evan at 204 lines. Meanwhile, Steels 725. Evan gets a Tetris. Oh, Steels doesn't get a quick tap over, but is gonna burn it back down. 739 for Steels. Back to being Tetris ready. Evan's board a little messy. He's gonna have to burn. Steals his board clean. Tetris for Steels. 788, 789, 220 lines for Evan. 779 for Steele. Steele gets a Tetris. Takes the lead. Both players clean. Evan gets a Tetris. Having the lead now. Both players waiting for the bar. All right, both players get the bar. Steele needs to has a chase now. 866, 866, but wasn't able to chase it down. Even with some 29 play, it was so close, but Evan was able to squeak out by just above 1K. Really, a double would have taken that, but just both players had a really strong game number 4. Steele putting everything on the line. Almost got a number 32, but was just short. So we're heading into a decider here. Hopefully the decider is as intense as last game. Alright, Steels is just gonna take some practice so far. Just warming up. Alright. We're gonna check your seeds now, making sure you both on the same ones. So I will count you down for the deciding game in 5. Alright, let's see. Will Evan be able to catch this game in decider? Or will Evan's early top from the game 1 haunt him for this? Alright, Tetris 4 steals. Evan's board getting up high. waiting for the bar, getting up really high, having to cover up the well. All right, taking it down. Far on the same seed. All right. Hmm. All right. Steel's entering a bit of a dig right now. Evan, bar in Tetris. Boards. Oh, Wells is back open for steals. Opposite just take a double, clean up the board. Nice bar over. Tetris for steals. 79 for Evan at 24. 97 for steals at 24. 79, 97. No, same digits. Tetris for steals. Opposite just take a single there to clean up the well. Tetris again for steals. Evan, meanwhile, waiting on the bar. Tetris Evan. Setting up. Wells back open. Tetris for 153, 40 lines for Evan. 190, 42 for steals. So Tetris for Evan. Steals setting up. Tetris for Evan. Tetris for steals. Both pretty close to each other so far. 2 bars in. Tetris for steals. Tetris for Evan. Steals opposite just clean up the board a bit. 267, 60 lines for Evan. 282, now 284 at 61 lines for steals. Both are playing well so far, knowing that this is their last game. They want to win this match so that just to get another point for the div. But we're heading into a little bit of a burn sequence. Simul touches for both. Alright, Tetris for steals. Tetris for Evan. 341 at 78 for Evan. 356 for steals at 78. So both players really close. Evan kind of in a spire right now. Gonna needs a long bar to fix up the center. Obviously, just plug in with a J. Up a little high though. Just getting the right pieces to burn down. Should be manageable. Double for Evan. Meanwhile, Steel's board is clean, so he is capitalizing on Evan's burn sequence. Tetris for Evan. Almost almost back to being clean. Tetris for steals. Widening the lead. Ooh, Evan got an awkward Z. He just didn't know what to do with it. Gonna have to burn a few more lines than he would have hoped. Steals, meanwhile, really playing on the pace. Tetris for steals. 367 at 101 for Evan. 473 for steals at 101. So a 100,000 point difference. Steals getting into a bit of a burn, but it's gonna quickly burn out. Piece timing not the best. All right, it's gonna want to clean up. Opposite just take a nice clean few singles, two burns. He knows he's on good pace. He knows he's pacing above Evan right now, who is at 380 at 113. Steals 486 at 114. Evan opts for a dirty set and well Tetris. Steals back to having his well open. Evan's board not very accommodating right now. What players aren't really having the best pre 19 transition board. Evan's board a little precarious. It's very precarious. He's gonna need a long bar, or he's gonna transition pretty dirty. See what he can do. His board's really messy. I don't know what he can do from here. And Evan's fighting it, but he's gonna top out at 415 steals. You're good for game number 5. You are ahead 551. Your pace throughout 18 was really the difference, as Evan was just unable to get his board clean in time for 19. So congratulations, Steels. You will be taking game number 3 of this set. Let's see, you can opts not to maul this out. Good games for both of you, in fact. Both of you played really strong games. Yeah, no, see, having to do 2 deciders just seems rough on a person in a row too. But you were able to clutch it out, so I mean, at least you'll go to sleep knowing you were able to win both of those. But yeah, GG's both of you. I will be reporting your match against Vance and your match against Evan Steels. I will be ending this stream now. So again, thank you both for competing for a match. Really good games from both of you. So I appreciate it, and hopefully I'll stream you in the future.